Welcome to the farm.
Welcome to the farm. I'm Justin, and as you can see behind me, we had some more storm damage. Earlier this week we had a storm come through and about a third of that big oak tree up there snapped off and is now laying on the ground behind me. Thankfully it didn't hit anything else besides some bushes and whatnot, so it's just a matter of cleaning it up. Yeah, we're gonna grab some equipment, start doing some cutting, some chipping, and have a little bit of fun. So this cleanup's going to be a little more difficult than the last time. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link to that one in the description. You can go ahead and check that one out. But this branch is significantly bigger. If you can see the branch right here behind me, you follow that up, and then right up in there is the big top of the tree. And that is like 15 feet off the ground in a bush right now. And that's a lot of weight hanging up there. So I'm a little nervous about moving stuff around and having this thing come down. So I think what we're going to start by doing is just start cutting off some of the smaller branches around, start cleaning that up, and see what we really have up there so we can find a safe way to get that down on the ground. All right, let's have some fun. Well, that's one branch started. Many more to go. So I'll end up setting you guys up. We'll shoot a time lapse and I'll just get going, cutting and chipping. All right, so I got you guys set up in the shade here. This is the best camera angle I could get with you guys being in the shade. If I didn't put you guys in the shade, the camera would overheat and you wouldn't see much of anything. So hopefully it's a good shot and you'll get to see the progress of turning this big pile of branches into a big pile of wood chips. well. I've made some really good progress. Unfortunately, I had to stop for a second. One, the camera overheated, so I had to let you guys cool off a little bit, but had a little issue with the tractor too. So I was chipping, I got a little greedy, shoved this piece in, it kind of went in sideways. When the chipper hit that, snapped the shear pin. You can see this piece of steel right here should be lined up, and there should be another piece of steel with a bolt going through. Bolt broke. So we're gonna go ahead and fix that and get back to chipping. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up the chipper housing here, make sure there's nothing jamming the flywheel, so that way when I start it up, it doesn't shear the pin again instantly. And now that I got this free, what I'll do is I'll turn this until it lines up with the shaft. So now I can come over to my toolbox on my tractor. I keep spare shear bolts and nuts right in there. I did at one point buy actual shear bolts from Tractor Supply, and these ended up being too strong. There was a few times I was chipping and I actually stalled out the tractor before the shear pin broke. So what I got is grade 5 bolts, 5/16 bolts. And that's what I use, and it seems to work pretty well. Shears nice and shears before the tractor stalls out. So now that I got the hole lined up with the PTO shaft, all I gotta do is slide my bolt through and tighten down my nut. Now what I gotta do is close up the chute, and we'll be ready to chip. All right, so I got everything cut up and chipped that I feel safe cutting right now. Everything that's left is still kind of supporting the weight of everything that's up in that bush, so I don't want to cut anything more and have something shift when I'm underneath it. So I think what we're going to do now is I'm going to get the tractor out of the way. I'm going to bring the gator up here, load up all the little rounds I cut, get those out of the way, and then we're going to figure out a way to pull this thing down. Well, I was not anticipating just the stuff I cut off those branches to basically almost fill the gator bed. And that's not even the big stuff, that's just the little branches I cut off. The whole trunk is massive, so let's see if we can get that down on the ground next. So I don't know how well you guys can see up in all those branches and stuff, but we have the big end of the branch up there. Then it comes down and it branches, and you got the one that I first cut that was hanging over by where the tractor was. Then you got this big one coming down. And in that crotch is another crotch of 2 branches coming this way, opposite directions in between that crotch. So it looks like it's wedged in there pretty good. I'm hoping what we can do is hook down low on this big one coming down here, pull it that way, and let the whole thing kind of twist out. We'll find out. So I don't think that my Kubota is big and strong enough to pull that. It's pretty heavy. It'd been really cool if the case was up and running, I could have hooked that up to it and pulled it with the case, but that's not the case. So I think we're gonna fire up the old farm truck, hook that up, and see if this will do it. It's been a while since I fired this thing up, so let's see if it'll start. Wow, started up a lot faster than I thought it would. Okay, so I have the chain wrapped around the limb, hooked to my strap, and my strap and a shackle on the receiver. I'll have the truck in 4 low. We're just gonna drive and see if this will come out. That worked awesome. I am so happy about that. It feels so good to have that on the ground. I was really nervous about that, especially working underneath it, because something shifts and that big thing comes down on me. Yeah, that would not be a good thing. But yeah, let's get it unhooked up. Let's grab the big chainsaw and start cutting this up. Well, I don't know how much of the cutting it picked up. Camera overheated and shut down, but I got most of the big section cut up now. I got to do the really big end yet, which I'll probably end up having to cut into pieces. And then the bush itself that it was stuck up in is just demolished. So I'll end up probably cutting that out, ripping that out, but that'll end up being a part 2. As Dana and Cadence just got home, it's time for some family time, so I'm gonna go dump the gator, get that ready for Dana to do chores, and that'll be the end of this video. I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one for part 2 of the cleanup. Bye.